Hi everyone, this is your favorite friend Jay or Jaylan Salah, as you formerly know her, film critic at Divides Nation, Instation Film, and Keith Loves Movies. Today I have another regular on our channel, Christopher Kulik, also known as Stone Gasman on Twitter, and we are discussing again a film that we both agreed on watching and discussing for your viewing pleasure. A film which kind of polarized me a little bit. First is joining us from his phone, so it's kind of looks different this time, but this film, I think I haven't seen it back when it was released, and now I was very intrigued because I heard like good stuff about it. And it's a really good film. It put me in like on a lot of emotions, but I have like conflicting ideas about it. Okay, Searching is a 2018 American mystery thriller, and it's very tech inspired. Like it's a very technological film where you are just bombarded or kind of like enclosed within the technology of it all. So it was really good watching something like that that makes use of our modern technology in a very interesting and engaging way. It's directed by Aneesh Chaganty, feature debut, written by Chaganty and Seb Ohanian, starring John Cho and Deborah Messing, and a very impressive young cast too. Chris, first of all, what I want to ask you is, why did you pick this film for our movie club?
I picked this film because I thought that this was um, kind of a landmark achievement just in 21st century film. Uh, 100 years ago, we had the silence. It's a very neglected genre, which is, I think, very sad. It's my favorite one, as a matter of fact. And just to think that this movie couldn't have been made um, maybe 5, 10 years ago says a lot. Uh, it Originally it started out as a short film,
Mm-hmm.
and the director and the producer you just mentioned, they showed it to some people, and they said, "Okay, we want you to make a feature length film out of it." They offered them a check to make the movie. Essentially, the director initially turned it down because he was working for Google
Wow.
at the time.
Imagine.
And his partner had to jostle him. Basically, he's like, What's wrong with you? Take the money. Let's make the movie." Because and John Cho initially said no, also because he thought this was impossible. He literally did not see how these guys were going to pull it off. Deborah Messing in the bonus features on the Blu-ray, she was astonished when she found out the director was 25.
Can't believe it. It's mind blowing, but also he's very in command of his tools. Like seriously. And honestly, I love the diversity of the cast as well. Like you have Anish, the director, he is Indian American, and you have Sav, the
Yes,
screenwriter, he's Armenian American. You have an impressive Korean cast, and then you have Deborah Messing. So wow, I think the diversity really layered the story, really added to it. It would have been
100%.
an entirely different film if this was your average white American family. Totally different dynamics, totally different even interactions with themes like death and things like about parenting and children and stuff like that. So it was just a very brilliant film which made use of its diverse cast. I wish we would have more like that, hopefully, like
Yes.
in the coming years. But I think like the film for me kind of comprises two pieces. First of all was a murder mystery, and the other one was more of the emotional impact of a loss of one of the family members and how that could sometimes change the dynamics within a family and how sometimes this would have like catastrophic consequences on everything. So what I want to know for you, how do you see the movie? Do you see it like this, just this, like very innovative technological achievement, or do you see it as a heartfelt emotional story at the core? When you see your view of the film itself.
Well, to answer that question specifically in one word, both. But, and let me say that, look, I think that when people think of when is the quickest amount of record time does it take before a tear come to the eye when you watch a movie, I think that Pixar's Up was
Yeah,
kind of the champion in that department. Didn't quite get there for me, but in Searching, 6 minute mark, I
definitely,
had a couple tears.
definitely.
And I can imagine that first 6 minutes being the short film. basically, and what inspired the production company to go even further and expand on that with the murder mystery and all that stuff. I mean, that's the thing. There are several points throughout this movie where I was incredibly moved, whether it was a simple image or a simple sound or a reaction. I mean, like when John Cho first discovers UCAST and he has that weird reaction, like, wait a minute, oh, I'm being recorded. Oh, I can chat with people. This is how it works. And of course, he had no clue, who his daughter was talking to, what her social life was like because of this tragedy that happened. And I'm not here again, not going to give a lot away. I don't want to give a lot away, but I love the fact that he accuses somebody of supplying her with cannabis, and and he's obviously upset. I mean, I'm not going to give away the full because it's very complicated,
It's very
but
complicated movie. Yeah.
yeah, it's very complicated. But like, you've been smoking out my daughter. You've been supplying drugs to my daughter. Oh, well, look who's talking, Harold.
Honestly, this part, I was like, no, I don't care what you're doing. This is my child, and you're going behind my back.
Yes.
That like this was like it for me. Like I didn't. This is where I think it kind of lost me a little bit because you can't have
Oh,
an adult like interacting with my child and then accusing
fair
me of
enough.
parental
Fair enough.
negligence. I would have been like a no. I would have like an order against you. You can't come to my
Fair enough.
minor child, even if you're a family member. This is where it felt like, no, you guys can't like manipulate this or twist it. Probably because, they were young making it. Probably they lacked, I think, the emotional depth of understanding these layered complications. But what I view is this is the part where it felt like, no, I'm sorry, you can't accuse him of parental negligence going behind his back, talking to his teenage daughter, supplying her with weed. And she's a minor. Like, what kind of
Yes.
person are you? And this person should be cut out from the family immediately, definitely. Like, this is no question, no brainer. So for me, this was a part that made me, although I love Joseph Lee from Beef, and I actually knew him from Beef first, and then I introduced him here. Like I said, great Korean cast. And another
Great
part that
cast.
lost me is my head was going into a completely different taken like scenario. And the big reveal seemed for me very anticlimactic in a way.
I agree. I
Because
do agree.
it was so morbid. In the beginning, I was seriously so scared with all the fake accounts, with all the horror stories we hear about girls interacting with strangers on the internet, luring them into trafficking
Yes.
rings and things like that. This is where my head was standing. So when it was like, just your regular misunderstanding that led to altercation, I don't know. It felt like, yeah, this was like the second time it lost me. Very anticlimactic for me. People who watch this
And
will
I
know.
still I still think it's a perfect film to show parents to basically show them visually and all that the dangers of being online and just the warning signs, that kind of thing. You know, it yeah, and like you said, a terrific cast. Does it maybe go too far in a few places with the story? Maybe
Yes.
the anticlimactic thing at the end, I can see that.
Yeah.
I've shown searching to a couple of other people, and basically the final twist
Yeah.
that kind of finishes the story, the central story, the mystery. It could be a bit of a whopper,
Yeah.
especially if you try to nuke it. But I
Exactly.
mean, but here again, just the suspense that's generated, the tension that's generated when you have to remember something that we saw at like the 28-minute mark because it's going to pop up again at the 74-minute. And did John Cho see that? I mean, and that's the thing. The entire movie is told on a screen. It doesn't matter if it's a computer or a phone or a
This is
GPS
brilliant.
or a news channel, a TV channel. Everything is a screen. And just to throw it out there real quick is that the producers behind this film, Tiber, I know I'm not going to screw up that name. I'm not going to try. But they made these two movies before searching called Unfriended, the
Ooh.
Unfriended movies. I never saw them. because I was worried that they sounded too much like gimmick movies. And with Searching, the director tried really, really hard not to make it a gimmick movie, but to actually tell a story with real character development
So
and
true.
real human emotion. And I think he pulls it off.
Yes,
It's a
me too.
high wire act. Yes, it's a little anticlimactic at the end, but I think he pulls it off. Absolutely.
That's the thing for me. I think probably as I was watching, the idea of building up a lot of expectations and heightening your emotion, because
True.
when he reached this stage where he remembered something at the 25-minute mark, I was like, "Oh, open you cast, come on. It's a new
Open
I
you
was
cast.
trying to talk to him. Like it's not on
Yes.
Tumblr, it's not on Facebook. I
Yes.
remember fish and chips. I remember this person. Please
Yeah,
remember
fish and
John
chips.
Cho.
Yeah.
So when
Don't
he
talk to fish and chips. That person is bad
And
news.
when
Yeah.
he was in the beginning, when the creepy fish and chips with this scary kind of like these like images that you get because when you work in like a company, marketing company and stuff, you know all the stock images that we use, the copyright free
They
ones.
are creepy. They are
Scared
genuinely creepy.
all these smiles scare me so much. So when I saw the first interaction, even between Margot and Fish and Chips, I was like, this is not a real person. Girl, run fast. Block, 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 block. So when he was like reaching it, my heart was like pumping and then, ooh, really? Okay. And that's when it started going down for me. Like I was on the edge of my seat throughout the film. Then the big reveal came and I started going,
Kind of
picking up my
deflated.
nails.
Kind of just deflated. Yeah.
So yeah, it was
Yeah.
just so it's very intense film. So the idea that they kind of like cut the tension a little bit maybe made me a little bit down, but I would still recommend it to everyone because it's an experience. It's really an experience. It takes you into
Totally an
worlds.
experience.
And also I think it's a great commentary on the loneliness of the modern youth and the modern teenagers because what a lonely world the young ones are living. What a lonely
Yep.
world even some of us are living. We're always online. We're interacting with our friends online a lot of time because real life is supposedly kind of lonely too. But you don't understand what made it so easy to tag into online world with all the pros and cons, with all the, like the pitfalls and the heightened emotions and the interactions. So I kind of understand it, but at the same time, maybe thinking the younger ones, it kind of worries me because at least you are going there with your experience, with the real life experience. You've had the life before online. They were born online. So it's a completely different thing for them.
Yes, I agree 200%. Although bear in mind that this is kind of a period piece set in like the mid 2000s. It has that Windows XP, like
Definitely.
iPhone 3 type of feeling that we all had for maybe just a few years.
Yes.
And also people, people across the board when we were kids, I mean, we didn't know what the internet was. I
No.
mean, the first time I got online was in 1993. I went to the Internet Movie Database to look up a
Dial-up.
movie from the 1980s called Just One of the Guys. That's
It
what I
was
did.
dial-up connection. You would wait for it to connect. It was awesome.
And
And you were just waiting for it, please, to connect, please. It was a different
that's why
time.
I love the opening image of the field because at first you're like, what? And then you see the start menus and like, oh, yeah, yeah. No, I
Computers.
mean, I thought it was lovely. Even if even if the story didn't wasn't executed at the end, they could have probably spent more time on it. But just how they did it is a technological feat unto itself. I mean, they were all doing this for feeling like the very first time. Nobody had attempted these things before, and
Definitely.
they were just wondering if this would come out looking the way they wanted to look and everything. And they were lucky. I mean, they were just really lucky. I mean, it's very impressive what they turned out. Last
Very.
year, of course, I can't get it out right now, but I do have the sequel to Searching called Missing,
Yeah, I
which
saw
came out
that.
last year, and it also has excellent reviews across the board. It has Nia Long, and I can't remember the other lady's name, but
The young girl, she's very
Reed,
famous. Yeah, Storm Reed, right? Storm Reed.
Storm Reed. Yes, Storm
Yes.
Reed. It's
Hmm.
great. Yes, I highly recommend the sequel as well. And it was made by the editors of Searching. So they knew exactly what they were doing. So
Definitely.
what I mean, but look, still with Searching, I think it's still a very impressive directorial
Very.
debut
Very.
regardless, I mean, what he pulls off in this movie, it just with all the different devices and all the different screens and the just the familiarity of these things for just a window of time, it just kind of registered, I think, in different emotional beats for me personally. And, just, how, like you said, how we're living in a digital online world and we're leaving all these footprints behind. It's like, how far is this going to go?
Exactly. How far? Like, are people going to be living inside the machines? Like, is this going to happen? People are going to be like downloaded sometime? I never know. I really don't know.
Searching gives me philosophical questions.
Me
It makes me,
too. Me too. And it's like imagine the sadness of being a puzzle to be kind of like put together with your online presence. Like the idea that he had to go through Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook. You are a part on
Dreamcast.
every application. Like you are cut into pieces, and every piece of you can be extracted from something, from a website, from an application. So this idea kind of made me, I don't know, very, it had a morbid feel to it. That maybe you would lose a person once and you would try to bring back the pieces or kind of put them together just from one place, which is the internet. But it seems like this person exists on multiple platforms. But at the same time, but what about the real person itself? He probably didn't know Margot in real life as much as he knew her from seeing her interactions with people and her online personality. And this had like two faces to it, a way that is sad and a way also that is good. At least he had something. Imagine if Margot disappeared pre-internet. He wouldn't have had anything. He would have like worked from scratch, from zero. So it's very,
Nothing.
it's sad and it's also very like it's throat provoking for me, the idea itself. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I can't agree. I can't agree with you more. I yeah. I mean, like I said, I understand your how you know it didn't live up to the expectations, and I completely understand why. I mean, there's other people that have those mixed feelings about this movie too. I say check out Missing if you want to do a review on it in the future.
we
I'm down
have
for that.
to. We have to.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have to
we kind of
revisit this
have to
world.
now.
It's an
Yes, exactly. And
obligation.
it's completely different. It's a completely different story. That's the only thing I'm going to say about but it
And
got
really,
great reviews like Searching. I mean, the critics liked it and it did well box office wise. I don't know if we're going to have a third one for a trilogy for this. But
hopefully
then again,
like
it
years
also makes me
later.
ask
Yeah.
for this brand new genre. I mean, like, how many more of these can we really make? I mean, yes, the opportunities for storytelling is endless, but or maybe I'm just not that smart enough to think of anything I could tell it online in this fashion. I don't know. How many more stories do you think are out there waiting to be told this way?
Think it also depends on because here we have a very unique voice, like you have a niche voice and you have,
Yeah, yeah,
like Seb's voice. Both of them are just talking from their angle, from their perspective. But what about other perspectives? I think it's about maybe, yeah, how many more movies can we make about the online world? But how many unique voices need to tell the story? Not people who are like copying or just
true,
producing
true.
content. You know what I mean? This is where you would be like, draw the line. But then someone comes first because how many revenge tales can we have? How many female body horror movies can we have? And then you have the substance, and then you have
Yes,
what? But then you have things that are trying to be we are body horror. Ugh, no, kill them. So it's about, I think, the uniqueness of the voice telling the story. And that's when you go like, yeah, give me more, hit me more. So I just wait for something to hit us because this, imagine being made in 2018 and then you have Missing in 20, what, 23? That's very modern
yes,
update. So how are they handling technology at a very recent time like now? Now I want to see it because I want to see how updated things are, like how different the teens of 2023 are than the ones of 2018. Now that would be really cool and interesting. So yeah, let's wait for
yes.
unique people telling stories rather than just let's make 100 movies about no guys, no, just don't make 100 movies about technology. Stop. No one needs to hear your stories. Thank you very much. Go find something else to do. Please. Enough.
A couple little tidbits I just wanted to throw out there real quick. The high school that she goes to, if you look in the picture at the bottom corner, it says home of the catfish.
Oh, wow. We're being
There's
catfished
there's Easter eggs
all
all
over.
over the place. You know that yeah, there's like a billion Easter eggs. Like Under the Silver Lake, it's movies are told in code now,
And we are supposed to decipher these codes. Exactly.
and we
And they
got to
want us to be like
decipher.
more intelligent, but I don't want to be that intelligent, guys. I'm afraid what I will discover. Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you very
and
much.
also finally, the bonus features on the Blu-ray are great. I mean, there's some great featurettes on there, a great commentary on there with the director and the producer.
Awesome.
My favorite story about that they say on the commentary is about this guy who's a friend of theirs, and he's basically profiled in the movie like he's sitting on a chair, he has a bunch of smoke coming out of his mouth. He was making those horrible
Yes,
comments
he is the awful
online
one.
that led to an incident. I'm not going to reveal, but they were saying, "Oh no, this guy's a buddy of ours. He's totally unlike how we're presenting him here. He's totally professional and everything." And I was just thinking, yeah, right.
How do we know, guys? Come on. He's always just blowing smoke out of his mouth. How do we know, guys? Yeah, sure. Right? Now,
The parents' worst nightmare.
exactly. Imagine this guy is dating your daughter. Ugh, no. Come on. No wonder he punched
but
him. He's like, the
but
guy with
it
the,
and like it's like I said though, it does also spotlight cyberbullying and stuff like that. It's just in the 80s, I never would have thought that we would live in a world like this. Seriously, but it's like, yeah, the internet is a massive, massive universe,
it's
and
very
there's a
complex
lot
world.
of yeah, there's a lot of spots you need to avoid.
Exactly. And a lot of things that you need to even kind of like rethink and think and just analyze. Like, it's a lot now. It's a lot to contain. It's a lot to say, even. So, what is good and what is bad? All you can do is like to kind of hold your judgment or kind of like rely on your judgment. But the
Exactly,
older and the more mature, like maybe we're speaking from a place of a bit of it of age entitlement because we're older, we've been through a lot of stuff. So maybe our judgment cannot fail us as much as younger ones, you know what I mean? Who are maybe way more technological adept than us, but then the pitfalls that they fall into, the idea that they deal with emotions in a way that is not as emotionally mature as us, would just lead them to hopefully none of those scary places. So yeah, just kudos to this film, kudos to the director, the screenwriter, the amazing John Cho gave a great performance. I really
great
loved.
performance.
And Deborah Messing
And
too was very like just tell me what do you think of the performances because I loved John Cho. I felt he was amazing.
oh, Deborah Messing was terrific. I mean, I've liked her in other films as well. I mean, with John Cho, I mean, getting over the Harold and Kumar trilogy, going to Guantanamo Bay or whatever. No, I mean, no, he was amazing, and I just figured, this is long overdue for him. It really feels long overdue, and it's such a shame that he just did that AI movie for Bloomhouse, which apparently completely bombed, sadly. And it's just after searching, I would have hoped to have seen a lot more like this from him by now, but we haven't yet. So, but no, he is awesome in here. I think it's an Oscar nominated worthy work. I do think it is.
He
And
took
Deborah Messing, she has to go through the gamut of emotions as well. I mean, in many many scenes, especially when you already know so many scenes play differently and so many like reactions and angles, just to give one little final example about how so good the performances are, especially from Deborah Messing. There's a moment where she's telling a story about somebody else, and like then we don't know if she reached the end of the story, but the other character asks her, "So what happened then?" You see her kind of search her eyes off to the right side. That's usually a psychological reaction that they're lying.
yes, definitely.
Not giving anything away, not giving anything
Exactly.
away.
And
Just saying, there's just the performances here from everybody, and from the daughter too. Extraordinary,
beautiful, beautiful actress
just
and
extraordinary.
very,
Yeah.
very layered and very nuanced. I
Oh
think that
yes.
you would never imagine Don Cho to be this deep. I think he took us on the turmoil of a parent in a situation like that beautifully. And I think also it just talks, I think, to the idea of even when we discover Deborah Messing and he searches her online and he's reassured. I think we also have this reaction of, but what if I research a place and they say it's safe and they give it good ratings, but it's not? You know what I mean? Like you're searching your next Airbnb or restaurant and it has like those 5-star reviews, but it turns out to be hell in real life. So how reliable is internet
How
credibility?
reliable.
So I think every single element in this film opens your eyes to bigger questions, bigger thought-provoking stuff, bigger discussions. And I'm glad that through our platform, we get to discover that together and we get to talk about that. So hopefully our next session, hopefully there are more stuff before missing, but then hopefully that missing will also open our eyes to different things about technology, modern world, and the internet.
I
So,
would love to get your reaction to Missing now.
ooh,
Absolutely.
okay, okay, I'll
Yeah.
give it to
But
you,
but
Chris.
it has to be after Perfume, the story of a murderer.
Yes,
Yes.
and after the bike riders too. We have
The
like a
bike
very,
riders.
and it will
Yes.
be
The
like a
bike riders needs to
circle.
be
We're
next.
gonna be a lot
Yeah.
of like we're gonna get like another channel favorite, so stay tuned for us, you guys, because it's gonna be like we have a lot in store for you. So you
A
are going to
lot.
recommend it to whom? Like who do you recommend searching for or for everyone? Just tell me.
Pretty much everybody, especially parents who are just not quite. I mean, back in the early 2000s when barely anybody understood what the internet is, but like more often than not, the kids know more than the parents when it comes to this stuff. So that's what I'm saying. The parents need to be on board and they need to, and that's what I'm saying. This is a great introduction to what this world is like and the world that we're living in is like. So absolutely recommend it to especially parents. Yeah, but it's a great. Yeah, but you know what? I mean, if you're into murder mysteries and missing persons mysteries, it plays
Great one.
wonderfully too. Yeah, I
Great
mean,
who done it.
I grew up on Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack. I mean, I love stories like. I mean, just how it keeps you guessing and it keeps you going in different directions. Literally, yeah. Sometimes, it's just yeah, it's wonderful. And if you love searching, then check out Missing. Yes, absolutely.
Chris, you're not a parent, right? Do you have kids?
Nope.
Because these are films that make me relieved I never had kids because I was like, oof, yes, thank you, God, because I don't want to go through something similar. Can't imagine a bigger hell than being a parent and just realizing something is wrong or happening to your kid or you don't know where they are. So it's just very nightmarish. Watch it if you're single. You won't feel, I think, the anguish as much as someone who might even feel like, oh, my heart is clenching, imagining yourself in a similar scenario. So just go there, enjoy if you're like us, you get to comment on parenting and telling parents stuff. And if you're a parent, I think you'll enjoy it even more or less. Just tell us in the comments. And we can't wait for you to watch more of our episodes. Tell us what you think.
Yes, absolutely. And just to let everybody know, if you come to my channel in the next week or so, I'll have my next 60 Minutes of Stone episode where I talk about the acting and directorial works of Osgood Perkins, the son of Anthony Perkins, and of course his brand new film Long Legs, starring Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage, my baby.
Which I saw in the theater, and I have plenty to say about this. So that's coming soon. Yeah,
I can't
that's
wait. Now I'm waiting for this episode. Okay.
yes,
You're
it'll be
getting me
my
very
Halloween
excited.
episode.
Yes,
It'll
your
be my
Halloween.
Halloween episode. But other than that, look, I got a Bieber concert to go to. I'm confirmed to go there.
Oh,
So
so
no,
cool. Yes, Chris.
you remember in Searching? You remember that? Yeah, Bieber
Bieber
concert.
concert.
Confirmed.
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 I love that he was confirming it like
Thank you for those moments that just break the tension. Okay, I love those types of moments. They're just wonderful. But yeah, check out Searching, then check out Missing, and then stand by for Bike Riders and Perfume.
and
Yeah,
perfume, story of a murder. Yay. Great talking to you, Chris.
great to see you again. It's always a pleasure.